What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Duran, and we're here to talk more Celtics basketball. And we're here to talk about the terrible news that we received about Jaylen Brown tearing a ligament in his wrist. Effectively for me, this kind of just sinks the season a little bit, and I think it did for a lot of people that are looking at the Celtics and kind of being a little bit more optimistic on the optimistic side. But now that we're looking at it without Jaylen Brown, we just don't have enough. For the outlook of this season, I see us still making the playoffs, still making noise, still trying to compete. I know, when you look at the guys on this team and how they fought through the season, they're still going to compete. People are saying tank and all this. That's just doing a disservice to the guys that have played hard, played through injury. Jason Tatum has only missed the games because of COVID. He has pretty much played almost at 99% of the games. That's just unfair to a guy like that. And also to Kemba, it's also unfair to him. A guy that's been fighting a knee injury all year to come back and play and contribute to this team. That's unfair to just say, let's go ahead and tank. Let's go ahead and, throw games. Let's just go ahead and stop trying to compete, because there are guys on here that have been competing all season. So I expect them to still continue to compete, continue to go out there and play hard. And from my perspective and from your perspective, you should just be looking at things that translate into next season. I'm looking at who's going to be on this team next year. Who is making this team? A lot of these guys won't be on the team next year. Let's just be real. The depth moves, there'll be guys that'll be gone. Like Grant Williams, I just don't anticipate being on this team next year. I don't know why. I don't anticipate him being on the team. Semi Ojeleye, I don't anticipate being on this team next year. We need to add more vets to this bench. Really good teams have vets on their bench. They don't have, young guys. They don't have guys like that. And also, remember, the Celtics have the player exception. That's still out there. That's still on the table. There's still things they can do. I'm not saying that they need to make wholesale changes. I was thinking that way when they were, down 30 to the Miami Heat. But when you talk about the outlook of this season so far and what we're gonna be looking at in the offseason, there needs to be minor tweaks to the depth, to the bench. There is. There needs to be minor tweaks to that team, to that unit. There needs to be an upgrade and improvement there. And then you talk about the player exception. Listen, whether you have like a superstar player that's going to come out and say, I want to trade, or whether you have, you want a player that you really, really like, they still have to use that player exception. Some way, shape, or form. They have to use it because it's gonna expire. So they're gonna figure out a way to add a really good piece. And one of the number one priorities to me for this offseason, we have to re-sign Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier, to me, has become a core piece of this team. I think he's a really good player. He showed when he's healthy, he can play, he can hoop. I really like Evan Fournier. But as far as everything else, we're looking at all these other guys outside of Kemba and Jason and even Smart. We're looking at everybody else, like who's going to be on this team next year. Who is going to be on this team? Even Rob Williams. I'm looking at Rob Williams like, is he going to be on this team next year? This guy can't even stay healthy. Like Jaylen Brown played with a wrist injury for about 3 games. They said that this injury popped up in OKC. We only now are learning the severity of it now. So when we talk about guys playing through injuries and things like that, Jaylen Brown played through injuries. Jaylen Brown was in games, and I get Rob Williams has tried to play through injuries, but too far and often is this guy down. Too far and often are we kind of holding our breath at the injury report for the games after. There's too many times that we are waiting to see if Rob Williams is okay from a fall. Is he okay? And the injury bug has kind of bitten this season. We've been injury bitten this entire season, and we can't really shake that. And then on top of that, you throw in COVID, coronavirus. We were just down and out of it. We were like, we could never get back into the flow of it, the rhythm. We could never. And hey, the Celtics could still do that. They still could catch rhythm. It still could make some ridiculously random run and still get our hopes back up. But as far as making the finals, that's dead. We're moving into the offseason. We're moving into, trying to improve this team. Let's get to offseason and fix this. Let's be honest. Let's get to offseason and fix this. Have a proper training camp where we can get the defense fixed and figure out what we're gonna do. We have a lot to work with, guys. We have a lot to work with. I'm still chasing banner 18. The championship is still in mind for me. But I should still think that we got a little bit of things to improve. It's not loom and gloom. It's not loom and gloom, but we still have things to improve in this offseason. But going back to Jaylen Brown, a guy that was tenacious, a guy that had career highs in several different categories statistically, a guy that fought this season, a guy that became a leader this season, not only on the court, but off the court. I feel for Jaylen Brown being hurt. Honestly, Jaylen Brown is a core piece of this team. Jaylen Brown is one of the best players and one of the best people in the entire NBA. So for a guy like that to go down, you feel for him. You really do. He'll be back. He'll be back next season ready to go, and we could probably just figure this thing out, because that's just where we're at. We've got to figure this thing out. What else is there to talk about? I didn't want to talk about the Heat game because I was kind of pissed off when it happened, but let's just go ahead and get a quick overview of that. The first half was trash. The second half was a little bit more of our identity. If this team could come out and play hard, they can beat a lot of teams. Honestly, if this team, even without Jaylen Brown, if they come out hard and play good defensively, they could come out and beat a lot of good teams and come out and upset a lot of people's seasons. We'll see how moving forward, what they'll do. I do anticipate them, like I said, I do anticipate them making the playoffs. I do. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. Well, I have nothing left for the video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.